A few years ago I got into GT Sport, and like a lot of people, I spent quite some time practicing and doing races. Driving the qualifying was actually quite fun and intense, but from the moment I got into the race, the excitement turned into stress. Now I have to be honest with myself, I'm a good driver, but I'm a piss poor racer, and it showed in the results. They were not terrible, but not good either. And after a few months of spending my Friday night and Sunday evening qualifying and racing, I decided to just stop. It was at that moment that I discovered BeamNG Drive, and it was also the moment that I started building my simulator, not for competition, but to try and create the most relaxing and immersive drive possible. The result of where I am this day I will share with you in this video. The large difference between racing and just driving is the amount of detail and force that you want to feel in your wheelbase. For driving, I would recommend a wheelbase with a strength around 6 to 8 Nm. Like everything I recommend, this is very subjective. I find everything around 5 Nm and lower a bit too little, and everything above 10 Nm, while it's good to have some overhead force feedback, but it is overkill. Having a fluid movement of the steering wheel on the other hand is very important for immersion, and I would recommend at least a dual belt system, but preferably a direct drive. While sim racers would also opt for the most detailed and smooth wheelbase, I would rather opt for the one that has an ecosystem more aimed at drivers. There is, at the moment I create this video, only one mainstream manufacturer offering an ecosystem for simulated drivers out there, and that is MOZA. So I added a MOZA R9 V2 wheelbase with 9 Nm of force to my Simrig in combination with one of MOZA's peripherals I love the most, the multifunction stocks. There is not much I have to say about the multifunction stocks except that they are brilliant. Basically it's a button box that mimics certain controls in your car like wipers, lights and cruise control. An absolute must in my opinion for driving cars. When it comes to the steering wheel, I have a MOZA RS V2 steering wheel added to the base. It came with a wheelbase when I bought it and measures 33 cm. I really like the diameter of the steering wheel, but the layout of it is too racing oriented. Again, when it comes to steering wheels, I know only one steering wheel which I really like for layout for driving, and that is the MOZA TSW steering wheel. Unfortunately, that one measures 40 cm and that can be an issue. The steering wheel in my car measures 37 cm, and I think between this and 33 cm is the ideal diameter for a steering wheel. The pedals that I prefer are the Fanatec V3 pedals. They have been around for a long time, and I would not necessarily consider them the best set to buy for racing. What the set does have are a few strong points for simulated driving normal cars and trucks. To start off, it has a very mushy braking pedal with enough travel on it. I find that most pro pedals out there have a very stiff brake, and that's something you want to avoid really for normal driving. The accelerator feels very smooth with just the right amount of resistance to it. It also features little haptic buzzers on the pedal, a gimmick, but like any haptics it does add to immersion, even if by times you hardly feel them working. The layout is perfect with enough room between the pedals, and the aesthetic design is, subjectively of course, absolutely gorgeous. The pedal faces are quite large also and perfect to drive with shoes on. Last but certainly not least, the clutch. I absolutely love the mechanical binding point in it, and while it may again be very subjective, I think it is after all these years still the best one I have tested. Sure, active pedals like those of Simrig or MOZA will be able to give a better feeling if the game will support it, but bang for buck, especially secondhand, nothing comes close to the Fanatec V3 pedals. A shifter is a necessity in simulated driving in my humble opinion. I picked the Thrustmaster TH8S for this task. It's probably the cheapest shifter out there, but I really enjoy driving with it. I did make some modification to it to make it feel a bit more realistic though. I exchanged the plastic shifter knob with the cheap leather one for the feel of it and installed some of 3D Rub's modifications to have a little more friction and to make it glide more into gear. Again here, it's a very budget solution, but it feels as good as any H pattern shifter I have tested, and well, it looks pretty nice too. There are other systems out there that can combine sequential and H pattern, like the Thrustmaster TH8A or the absolutely superb SHH Thorn, but I don't really need to have a sequential function. If you really want to up your game and have a hyper-realistic feel, there is a MOZA AB9 active shifter, but to be fair, I don't know what games support it at the moment, and at the current price point, yeah, it is a bit steep for me. I would really advise a Simrig to attach your hardware to. In all honesty, yeah, you don't need a lot for this, especially not for simulated driving. A folding seat like the GT Omega Sprint is already a very good start. The rig I use is a Trak Racer TR120S V2. The main advantage of an extrusion profile rig is that you can configure it exactly how you want and create the ideal seating position for your driving. Why I love the TR120S so much is mainly because of its beautiful color. Again, very subjective, but I just think that, like with real cars, it's important to have a bit of variation in colors. Black rigs are beautiful and neutral, but this one just sticks out and I love it. I did do a few modifications to it though. I made the base frame smaller to fit better in available space, but I butchered it a bit, so very sorry Mud10. I also added some wheels to it to move it and make me sit a bit higher from the ground, and the last modification would be the diamond plate to put my feet on. It just feels more comfortable with that installed. For a seat, you might want to take a comfortable one, with somewhat of a nice padding for the bottom and back. The ideal seat in my opinion would be a reclinable seat with a dual recliner lock to make sure the back doesn't flex too much. Adding some seat rails is probably also a good thing, as it just makes it easier to get in and out and adapt your configuration. The seat that is currently mounted on my TR120S is a Trak Racer SA12. While it looks stunning, is practical, has a lot of room in it, is relatively comfortable and looks spectacular with a nice paint coating, it simply is not the correct seat for my ultimate driving simulator. At the moment, the Next Level Racing ERS3 looks very nicely spec'd, but I have not tested it yet. Trak Racer also said that they would be coming out with the dual recliner locked seats soon. A last addition I have for my rig would be Haptics. Here it depends really what kind of rig you have. If you have a foldable seat or tubular frame, you might opt for something like the Next Level Racing HF8. If you have a more sturdy frame and the means for attachment, you could opt for Pass Shaker Haptics. While they are more powerful and better integrated in your sim rig, I do believe that they lack a bit of the details you get from a pad like the HF8. I have the Trak Racer BSA 200 installed with two pucks, one under my seat and the other one under my pedal plate. This gives that nice sentiment of a purring motor, the excitement of a revving engine and the jolts of adrenaline while you shift. It's truly something if you have the extra money to spare to consider buying, as it really takes the feeling you get from the experience to a new level. There are of course other haptic reactors like those for the pedals, like on my V3, but a bit more elaborate. But I think they are relatively expensive for the extra immersion they bring. So my favorite game is BeamNG, and it is also the game that gets the most out of the hardware. SimHub drives the haptics, and with OpenTrack and AI Track I can even use my webcam to do head tracking. I just love to drive around in the mountains or by the seaside of Italy in that game, but also the career mode is something very fun, letting you drive for a purpose. The game with the most ambience is without doubt Taxi Simulator Barcelona. The many pedestrians, known famous places, day and night cycle, all just makes it very relaxing and a fun experience. The bad part is that it doesn't support haptics or head tracking at this moment, and the force feedback you get from this game is, well, yeah, poor. A last game that I will be starting with in the near future will be the European Truck Simulator. When I look at the different Facebook groups, I see many pictures of people with very clinical and functional sim rigs, and that's a bit sad really. But once in a while you just see a sim rig that makes your jaw drop. meet the Volvo rig of Zeno Silva. I don't exactly know what hardware he uses in terms of wheelbase shifter and so on, but I just wanted to share with you his absolutely insane build. If you want to show off your rig, you can always share it with me via Discord. I also will change the name of my channel again to something that reflects a bit more what I have described in this video. Something like chill drive, sim tourist or laid back driving. If you like these or have any other suggestions, I would love to hear them in the comments. Thank you all for watching. I hope you had something from this video. Don't forget to like or subscribe, and if you want to buy new hardware, do it via an affiliate link. I will see you all next video. Bye bye.